This video is brought to you by Sony. Learn what happens when artists meet engineers.
Hey everybody, Jim and Roth here to talk about a big rumor making the rounds that Neill Blomkamp, director of Elysium and District 9, may be directing the pilot to Xbox's Halo television series.
Yeah.
Now, this is a rumor. Latino Review is reporting this. Fill in the folks about why we hope this rumor is true and why it's Blomkamp and why we're excited about that.
Well, it's Blomkamp because he was born with that name. But,
Okay.
but we're excited about the rumor because, of course, before he of course directed District 9 and he directed Elysium. But before he directed District 9, he was set to direct a Halo movie, and it was going to be produced by none other than our lovely Peter Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, Del Toro had been in talks to direct that movie, but that didn't happen, and then it was Blomkamp, who had been known for directing these short films, these really interesting and elaborate short films and big commercials before that. That fell apart, and then he went
Infamously
on.
so.
Infamously.
It's like the most famous unmade video game movie, if you had never heard that before.
Yeah, so infamously it fell apart in a really big way, and he went on to do District 9, which of course was a huge hit. It was made for $30 million. And the effects that in that movie, he was of course also a visual effects artist prior to his directorial work. The effects in that movie and the aesthetic of that movie looked very Halo-like. It was like people had thought, well, he's sort of cheating his way into doing
He's
kind of a Halo movie.
He's a gamer. I mean, he's a big Halo fan. He's really fond of the mythology. So when that project fell apart, you know, obviously he's been bombarded with questions ever since. Would you ever go back to it? I mean, just last year he was doing press for Elysium. We talked to him at one event, and he said, yeah, I'd love to. I still love that mythology and that world. I would go back to it. But he was bemoaning the fact that basically how much creative control could he really have on something like that? And that is something, you know, when he's doing his own original stuff like Elysium or District 9, I mean, that's his world.
Yeah, you have to wonder, though. I mean, you have to wonder, again, like, he seems to really keep kind of trying to do a Halo-esque movie, you know, in his original films. The visuals are sort of lend themselves to that world. But also, you know, they said when they announced it, like, this is a huge universe. There's all kinds of stories that we can tell in this.
In the Xbox live-action series?
Yes, in the Xbox live-action series, you know, their web series, Forward Unto Dawn, was very successful, very popular, very well received. I mean, my big question about this is how much money are they going to sink into this? Because if he's going to direct it, it's going to be more than an ordinary pilot would be. Because yes, he can work under constrained, sort of what we would consider constrained financial circumstances. $30 million to do a big epic sci-fi movie like District 9 is not a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it looked awesome.
And we're talking like he's rumored to just be directing the pilot, not necessarily the entire series like a True Detective or something where they have the same creative people on each episode. Although it would be kind of cool if they did get Blomkamp to do the whole thing. Now, why do you think, why do you think he would come back and just direct it instead of doing as a big feature film as a pilot?
Well, first of all, I mean, there's a couple of reasons why it's an opportunity to do it. You know what I mean? It's being made as a television show. It's not being made as a movie. It's an opportunity to dip his hand into a world that he's not yet done, which is television. And it's sort of establishing, when you do a pilot, you establish the look of and the tone of the entire series.
Right.
So it's a big job for that series.
And you'd get to work with Steven Spielberg.
And you get to work with Spielberg. You know, I mean, there's a lot, I think, to recommend him to do this. The thing is, the series is not going to be exclusive to Xbox Live. It's probably going to premiere there. Where it goes from there, I don't know. I don't know if they're looking into partnerships. My question is, where's this money coming from? You know, how much are they going to spend on that initial pilot and then on the series from there? How many episodes?
I mean, is it out of the realm of possibility that they would spend $30 million just basically doing the pilot, like doing essentially a 2-hour movie, but as a pilot to the entire series?
If you look at the amount of money that HBO is willing to put into something like Game of Thrones, it is not entirely impossible. Maybe not 30 million, but several million, definitely. Yeah. I mean, that's going to be several million, but it could be as much as $30 million. I wonder, you know?
Right.
I mean,
And is this a show, like, we really do want Blomkamp to do this. We're big fans of his.
Oh, yeah.
So we hope this rumor pans out. Maybe it might not. Maybe by the time you actually watch this, it'll have been debunked, or maybe they'll announce that he's signed to do it. But do you think that the Halo show, with Blomkamp and Spielberg, are those the stars of it? Or are you going to look at, like, could Charlton Copley now pop up in there because he's worked with Blomkamp? I mean, do you actually need any faces, recognizable faces for it, considering he's going to be covered?
Yeah, I don't think you do. I think you could certainly see Copley show up because they work together so often, but I don't think that you need stars. I think that, like sort of the Marvel universe, that Halo, the property, is the star, and it would make stars. They want this to be a Star Wars-like franchise and spread out to multiple platforms. It's already done that to some degree. I think the interesting thing will be if it's really good. Even non-gamers will watch it if it's available on other platforms, which it looks like it probably will be. It'll probably premiere there and then go, I don't know, Netflix, Amazon, something. But the other interesting thing to me is that it's been so difficult to make a good video game movie. What if the best thing they do is on TV? What if it's that the first really good adaptation is a television show? And
also, I mean, the element of creative control, since it is Microsoft doing it themselves and all that. But we'll see how all this pans out. Again, we really do hope that Blomkamp is going to direct this. Keep it locked here at IGN for more on Halo, the TV series, and everything else.